Coming to you live from the Nathan Bateman estate, it's the 10 Point Podcast. My name is Bruce, and when I created this podcast, I turned to Chris and Andy, and they looked at me and said, "You're not a man, you're a god." Which reminds me, here are those two men who have signed the 10 Point Podcast non-disclosure agreement. First, he is a bastard. It's Chris.
I'll accept that tonight. Also, your little dance kind of worked in perfectly with the tune there.
Oh, that's good to see. And secondly, he am become death's destroyer of worlds. It's Andy.
I definitely have tonight as well.
I think
I'm 3 beers in because Chris is late.
Yeah, every film this season, I think Andy has been responsible for Armageddon in the introduction. I just continued that train going there. We're the 10 Point Podcast. We are a podcast, so you'll find us where you get podcasts. We're also on YouTube when the video works, which is most of the time at the moment. So you can check us out on YouTube or 10 Point Podcast over there. Just search 10 Point Podcast anywhere, and you will find our podcast. And you can do that on Facebook and on Twitter as well, where we have our social media sites. And also 10pointpodcast.com is 10 Point Podcast Central Hub for everything 10 Point Podcast A. What have we been watching in the last week prior to this episode? Does anyone have anything interesting they watched in the last week that they really want to talk about?
I did.
Okay.
I went to the cinema again, because I always go to the cinema.
You do?
I went and watched Uncharted.
Ah, okay.
Now,
I've played the first 3 games and I quite like them, but I'm not terribly sure if it's going to be a great film or not.
Well, see, I played the first 2 Uncharted and really liked them, and then this one, it's not even remotely close to the games because it's all set before he's Nathan Drake, pretty much.
Ah, I see. Okay.
It's pretty much a Spider-Man film. And I think this is now the problem with Tom Holland is he can only play Spider-Man.
Until he becomes noticeably older and looks different, he's just going to be Peter Parker.
It's a good film. It's like kind of like the National Treasure type kind of thing with Spider-Man, and it is Spider-Man. That's my biggest flaw with this film is Spider-Man. He is Spider-Man. Every single part of it is Spider-Man.
I generally feel like they missed a beat not casting Nathan Fillion because he was like he had the look, didn't he?
Yeah, but he could easily be an older one. That's the point. This is like a prequel. This is like when he was a teenager.
Is it set now, or is it a back in time? Like, is it set?
No, it's set like now time.
Present.
But like, Marky Mark's pretty good in it. He plays Mark Wahlberg, but Tom Holland is Spider-Man. That's all I can say about that film.
It's gonna take a while for him to shake it. Yeah. Anything else from Andy last week?
I do have one. Everybody must go and watch it now. It is a must. Peacemaker. It is now officially finished. Season 1. It's been renewed for season 2, and oh my god, that last episode is probably the best bit of TV I have seen since Mandalorian season 2.
Right. Okay.
Peacemaker, I'm going to say, was better than the Book of Boba. Every single episode hit big time. Yeah,
I think you have raved about it on a weekly basis here, so that's a good sign.
Peacemaker, watch it. Last episode, holy shit.
Cool.
You thought Luke Skywalker was good. Put it that way. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Okay. I'll leave Crystal last because I have nothing exceptional to bring to the party here. So, I watched Godzilla, King of the Monsters again because I
just watched that this today actually.
Really? Yeah. Every Halloween, every Valentine's Day for us, it's Chinese and a monster movie, and it was Godzilla, King of the Monsters again. Every time I watch it, it goes a bit further down because I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Why did they do that? That doesn't make sense. Why did they do that? And it's just like it's some big monster fight. And I much prefer the films. I prefer the first Godzilla. I haven't seen Godzilla Kong more than once, and I remember being very iffy on it on the first viewing, Godzilla versus Kong. But Godzilla, I'm on the record, I enjoy Godzilla movies, and I have now, not on as quick a rate as Zilla 2, I have now finished Murderville, the American Murderville on Netflix.
Good time.
I did, well, I mean, I think it's like 2 weeks it took me to watch it. That's not too bad for 6 episodes, whatever it was. And I'm all in. I was watching them kind of one, and I'm not much of a binge watcher, so I'd watch one episode. Yes, I really enjoyed it, and then it'd be like, oh, it's Camille Nanjiani's next. Oh, I'll watch that tomorrow. Oh, this is quite good and all that. And then I watched the second to last episode, and I can't remember who the guest was on that one, but that ends on a cliffhanger where it's like there's news about his partner. I had to then watch the last episode, and it's not really a series like that. Like the cliffhanger meant I had to watch the finale. saw who was the finale? Oh, Ken Jeong. Ken Jeong.
That's the best episode ever. Just he will not stop laughing through the entire thing. It's
Yeah,
brilliant.
he had the most fun. Like he was the one the most often that Seattle had to nudge him and say, "Stop laughing. We're meant to be in real life." But I really enjoyed. It's not the funniest one, but I really enjoyed the Sharon Stone episode because she was trying the hardest. She was like, "I am going to be a proper actor, and I'm going to try to be a policeman and work it out as well." But two things about it. One, I think there was one episode where I didn't get it right, if you know what I'm saying. I can't remember which episode it was, but I got it was the one where the guy played the triplets. I got that.
Oh yeah.
All right.
But I also noticed, with the exception of one episode, the second suspect was always the guilty one. There was one episode where it was the third one, the one with the Sharon Stone one. But every time it was always the middle one, and I'm like, so by the time I got to the sixth episode, I was like, well, it's not the first, it's never the first guy, and then the second, oh, it's the second person. But yes, I love it. I'm totally in, and I really am now hoping there's a second season and all that sort of stuff. So I love it. So yeah, nothing new for me. Chris, what were you in the last week?
I watched the Tinder Swindler.
Oh, what a fucking show that is!
It is
mind.
Crazy, isn't it?
It is.
Is that's the new Netflix? This is the documentary everyone's talking about.
I want to see Joe Exotic versus the Tinder Swindler. That's the series I want to watch.
I think I might replace my Murderville with that because I have seen everyone talking about it, and I've had no spoilers. I don't know what happens. So
his plan is absolutely flawless.
Oh.
Like I won't spoil it for you.
Yeah, try not.
A non-spoiler. First 45 minutes, I'm like, what's this shit?
Yeah.
Like
he seemed like a stand-up guy here.
Yeah, like 45 minutes. I'm just like, holy shit, this guy is like, it's I have no issue with him at all. And even at the end, I still don't really have an issue with him. Seems
more
right.
more impressed than angry. Is that how it is?
Oh yeah, I don't think I could get angry at him. He didn't kill any tigers or anything like that. He seems all right.
Yeah.
I'd go on a drink with him.
It would just cost you a liver, and I couldn't. Apart from that, King of the Monsters, watched that today. Had a bit of free time. But I think it was really good. I like the Godzilla films.
I'm telling you, I honestly, God, think you've been watching Schitt's Creek because your outfit is it's bang on Schitt's Creek.
I haven't seen that, but I've been meaning to.
That links me back to Murderville because the one episode where I didn't know
she's in it.
Who is she? She's from Schitt's Creek. She was really.
Watch the British version. It's good. It's a lot funnier.
Oh yeah, I've said that. So I might actually go into that because it's quite a bit older. I remember it from a few years ago. So
yeah.
I think I'll get that. But there we go. Other than that, I've mainly been watching trailers about films that are coming up soon. This seems to be a big trailer season.
Trailers.
I think I have now watched every second of the Doctor Strange trailer with people telling me who's this and why's that and all that. So yeah, we'll get on to mystery voices in these movies, I'm sure, when it comes to May and the summer and all these sort of stuff. So yeah, a lot of trailers. Right, we better crack on here. Point number 1 on the 10-point podcast. What is the point? The point this week is the 2014 or 15, depending on where you look, because different websites list different years, 14 or 15 sci-fi drama thriller Ex Machina. Brought to us by Universal Pictures International, who we've never done before and have nothing bigger than this that they've ever done, or even on this level. So this is their biggest film. Film 4 brought us nothing was done before, but Shaun of the Dead, Trainspotting, 12 Years a Slave, Attack the Block, 127 Hours, and DNA films we've never done before. They've done Love Actually, 28 Days Later, Dread, and The Last King of Scotland. The film, Ex Machina, written and directed by Alex Garland, who wrote all of The Beach, 28 Days Later, Sunshine, Never Let Me Go, Dread, Ex Machina, and Annihilation. And he directed the last two there. He only ever directed the last those two films, Ex Machina, Annihilation, only directing credits that he has in films. But he's also behind the TV series Devs that I've never watched, but I'm certainly aware of the name Devs. So yeah, quite a lot of big time films throughout the 2000s for Alex Garland there. Ex Machina stars Domhnall Gleeson, famous for being in the final 2 Harry Potter films as one of the Weasleys. Anna Karenina, Black Mirror, the one episode that whenever I see his face, I remember the Black Mirror episode, which is quite coincidental compared to the subject matter of Ex Machina. About Time, and then he's in the film Frank the same year as Ex Machina comes out. And after that, he was in the Star Wars sequel trilogy as General Hux. He was in The Revenant, and apparently he voices characters in Peter Rabbit 1 and 2 as well. they were the last big films. He is our main star, according to the credits of the film. With Domhnall Gleeson, we have Alicia Vikander as Ava. She was in The Testament of Youth before being in this. This was her big international breakout. She is obviously from, I think she is from Norway. I forgot to write down which country she is from, but she is a Scandinavian actress from Sweden. And then following Ex Machina, she was in The Man from U.N.C.L.E., The Danish Girl, Jason Bourne. Then she played Lara Croft in Tomb Raider, and apparently is going to in the sequel to that film. And most recently, she was in The Green Knight, a film that I was going to watch and still have not got around to see. And finally, we have Oscar Isaac, famous for Inside Llewyn Davis, and then A Most Violent Year came out the same year as Ex Machina, and then since then, the Star Wars sequel trilogy also, as Poe Dameron. Then he was Apocalypse in X-Men, and then he was in Gomez Addams in the Addams Family animated films, and then he is in Dune, and whatever films we get beyond Dune, he will continue to be in, I would imagine. So they are some actual trio of movie stars from big movies in Ex Machina here. The film made on a budget of $15 million, which seems very low, considering they had to make at least one human into a robot for the duration of the film. It opened in the US first weekend for $237,000, but that's because it had a limited release in its first weekend. It was not released massively across the country. Its final US gross was $25.5 million, so it did make $10 million. Worldwide was $37 million, so not a massive money earner, but it made a huge profit compared to the budget. Released 21st of January 2015 in the UK. It came out in April 2015 in America, one of them ones that we got first over here. So they were both very early 2015, but because of the US release date, it did not count for the awards season until 2016, where it was all over awards season in 2016. Nominated for 2 Oscars. Best Original Screenplay, where it lost to Spotlight, and Best Visual Effects, where it won. So it is an Oscar-winning film.
Yay!
As Chris seems to pick the odd one here in their Oscar winners, seems to be good at that. At the 2016 BAFTAs, it got 5 nominations. So nominated for Best Supporting Actress, Alicia Vikander lost to Kate Winslet in Steve Jobs. Nominated for Best Original Screenplay, it lost to Spotlight as well. That's screenplay for both Oscars and BAFTAs, lost to Spotlight. Nominated for Best Visual Effects, lost to The Force Awakens. Nominated for Best Debut by a British writer, director, or producer, which is an award that's never come up very often. That's for our main man, Alex Garland, his directing debut, obviously. Lost to 2 people involved in the film called Thebe, which I have never heard of before, but 2 people. That was the best debut of the year. And finally, nominated for Best British Film at the BAFTAs, it lost to the film called Brooklyn. Again, I'm not too aware of. So lots of nominations, but no wins at the BAFTAs. 2016 Golden Globes, 1 nomination, Best Supporting Actress for Alicia Vikander again, lost to Kate Winslet again for Steve Jobs. Now on to the big ones. 2016 MTV Movie Awards. We've not had in a while because we've had mainly 80s and 90s films recently. Ex Machina, Best Female Performance, Alicia Vikander nominated. Lost to Charlize Theron in Mad Max Fury Road, which is a fair judgment in my book. But the big one, the one we're all waiting for, the 2016 Saturn Awards, our favourite categories here. Nominated for Best Special Effects, lost to The Force Awakens. Nominated for Best Supporting Actress for Alicia Vikander again. Lost to Jessica Chastain in Crimson Peak. Nominated for Best Actor, Domhnall Gleeson. Lost to Harrison Ford in The Force Awakens.
Hi.
Again, not a strange one. Nominated for Best Writing, lost to The Force Awakens again. Nominated for Best Science Fiction Film, lost to The Force Awakens again. And then nominated for Best Director in his debut was Alex Garland, but he lost to Ridley Scott for The Martian. So after all of that, it only won 1 award, and it was an Oscar for Best Visual Effects. So I don't know if it would cash it all in for 1 Oscar, but
is that the name of the award for on his debut? Nominating a writer thingy on his debut.
Yeah, what was it? It was
Ridley Scott has done a lot of films before his debut will win.
Oh, well, exactly. Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, like, he was nominated on his debut for Best Director, where Ridley Scott, I should say, decades into his career, beat him. But yeah, I thought he got nominated for the Saturn Awards with his first ever film he directed. I thought was certainly something. Anyway, on to the synopsis for Ex Machina, written by Jay, a new contributor, I think. Caleb Smith, a programmer at a huge internet company, wins a contest that enables him to spend a week at the private estate of Nathan Bateman, his firm's brilliant CEO. When he arrives, Caleb learns that he has been chosen to be the human component in a Turing test to determine the capabilities and consciousness of Ava, a beautiful robot. However, it soon becomes evident that Ava is far more self-aware and deceptive than either man imagined. It's pretty much a spoiler in there. Who picked? It was Chris who picked. Chris, why don't you tell us why you picked it?
It'd been a while since I picked a film that I hadn't seen before, and
Oh, you hadn't seen it? Ah.
and this one seems to fit into my theme that I've got going, so I thought I'd give it a bash.
Sketchy.
Yes. This is another film that I have incepted on the podcast. I watched this in September 2020, so I have seen it before, and I mentioned it on the podcast. I don't know in what light. I don't know if I said it was great, good, bad, or whatever, but I definitely watched it during the time we were doing the podcast, so I think I mentioned it, and Chris has popped it into his head for later.
You'll find out later why I picked it.
Right, okay. And Andy, have you seen it before?
Hi.
Andy had seen it before because it came out after Die Hard. I would normally ask what channel we watch it on, but this film is made by Film More, so kind of gives it away. And what version do we watch? I'm assuming we all watched the only non-China version, because in the Chinese version they blurred out the nudity and there's like one other tiny little edit, but everybody else,
Sure, what's that version?
everybody else in the rest of the world gets the normal version, I would say. So on to point two, the high points. So it's not the best bits. Where Chris, you picked one. You start us off.
Oh, I'm going to say it's like the actual compound looks amazing. Like if I was a billionaire and I could afford to like helicopter my kids backwards and forwards to school, I would totally stay there.
I've got the house / research facility, because it very quickly says it's not a house, so it's a research facility. But yeah,
I don't know.
incredible.
That wall, it's just like seems like normal rock. How are you going to damp proof the rock? It's going to cause you issues.
I can imagine there. It's going to give you problems. Oh, it's going to cost a lot.
You're never going to be able to ensure that.
Fire there, it'll dry it out for you.
Well, you could go ask, because it is an actual hotel in Norway. Is the building? I don't believe they filmed inside it. I could be wrong, but the building is a hotel that you can stay in Norway. I don't have the exact place anymore, but I had it written down as I was researching. But yes, it's a tremendous house, especially the bit that's behind Andy for those who are watching.
Yeah.
I like that.
I feel like we should like get sponsorship and we could go and film the podcast there.
Oh, that's a great
Happily
idea.
do it.
We should film the podcast wherever the film is based every week. I think that's what we should do.
Famous.
That's what we do. We're live from there now, aren't we?
Yeah, but I tell you what, inside here, I'm actually fibbing. We're not actually coming from these places that I say every week.
That's probably what we're going to start getting sponsorship so we can actually come live from these places now.
Yes.
We'll happily do it.
Any other early high points from you, Chris, or any just general?
No, like the next one's not until like you actually get to meet Ava and things.
Yeah, I'm the same. That I like. I think Ava is the next thing I have, which is I'm still as like probably the second half of the film. I'm still just looking at Ava, thinking, how have they done that? It's like how much of her is blue? Like, what is she? Is she wearing a blue hat so she has no hair? And then how can I see all the way through her? How did they do that? And like, well, that must be actual costume, but then that can't be costume. It's like, how do they make her look like she's like I don't know, half there, half not there robot is exceptional. And I could not pick a hole in it anywhere. Like we watch some films, it's like, well, that bit was a bit iffy. I could not find a bad bit anywhere.
Like absolutely, they nailed the design of her, I thought.
Yeah, definitely.
But you could tell like halfway through the film, they're like, we can't afford to keep doing it. Let's just dress her up and everything.
Our budget's 15 million. We can only afford like 10 of it on making the robot look good.
My first high point is the relaxedness of getting pissed. Like, I was originally going to do what you guys do and count like different alcoholic beverages. Good.
Don't you worry.
Because there's quite a lot.
That's what I did as well.
But yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving the alcohol representation, like the haggis representation last week.
Yeah,
I love a bit of booze.
It's all it talks to you.
It was a scene where I think it must have been after the first power cut, and he's just sitting in the room drinking that beer, and he's talking about like in the phone, like who you gonna call. I instantly went, Ghostbusters.
I was like Ghostbusters for a reference, and then he said this from Ghostbusters. Oh, yeah, it actually was a reference. No, the bit with the booze for me is that they're outside on like they're having a bit of a chat outside, and he pours on like another vodka, and they go back inside, and you see him drinking from the vodka bottle. And I'm like, oh, he's probably had a couple more. So I'm putting a couple more. How many drinks they've had? And then, like, the scene carries on, and all of a sudden he moves, and then there's just like 4 empty bottles of beer sitting on the table in front of him. So I'm like, so they had vodka outside, come back in, tanned a few beers, and now he's back on the vodka again.
It's genius. As Chris will know this week, I've been drinking a lot, so this.
It's coming up later as well.
Yeah.
Get back onto the movie. Like, I liked it when things were explained to me. Like I knew roughly what the Turing test is, like an example, and then it kind of goes quiet for a minute, and he's waiting for Caleb to say, "Well, what is it then?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "It's when you test robots first, like artificial test." And I was like, "All right, I did remember that."
Yeah, I was just saying, I was like, oh, please explain what it is, because I'm not sure. I recognise it. I know there's a game after it. I know who Alan Turing is, but I don't know what the test is. So yeah, I'm glad I did it. So my next high point I hit on is, I don't know, it's just a good scene. Is post session 3, they have a discussion about whether he gave Ava sexuality or not. And I thought, it's just a really, really good scene, and I very much enjoyed it. Very, very rarely do I go, oh, this was a good scene, and that was well written and well acted. But this one really jumped out at me, and I liked some of the arguments they were making about sexuality and about AI and all that sort of stuff. And then that was also when you look back, it was the first scene where it was planted has Nathan programmed her to try and kind of beat our main guy Caleb. That was the first, and I feel like it's a real good the film centered around that after session 3, I think it was. I really enjoyed it.
Or did you just get excited that you found out that she had a usable vagina?
Well, that was also in that scene. No, you mentioned it, but yeah, it wasn't. I would say not that part necessarily, but the yeah.
Well, it was kind of going through my head to the whole film because he'd been there by himself for a long time, and then you see what she called Kyoko, walking about, and then you just see her kind of lying in bed, like, that monkey bastard's been fucking a robot. Like, oh no!
This is going to turn into depravity any second. It's always there.
I'm prepared to leave my Kyoko thoughts until low points if everybody else is happy or is on the same wavelength as me. I'll just go on to my next one. Those who are watching, I'll be able to tell what my next best high point is the dance scene for no good reason, but apart from just having a bit of fun, which I didn't realise was quite as memed as it has been. I think it happened before memes and GIFs and Vines and all that were too huge. But yeah, apparently this was a popular thing when the film was first coming out. But yeah,
it was not choreographed.
Yeah, it's like, of course, the robot could just be taught the dance moves by him, so I guess it's easy to dance. But yeah, it was a good dance. I can't remember what the song was, but it was all very catchy, and I very much enjoyed the scene.
Hold on, I've got it. It's one of my thingamies. Get Down Saturday Night.
There you go. Get Down Saturday Night.
But it puts me onto my next high point, which is I absolutely hate Oscar Isaacs, but I actually really like him in this film. He comes across as a bit of a bell end, and he can play a good bell end. Whereas in Star Wars, I just like to punch his face. Yeah. Same way as I wanted to punch Thingy Gleason in his face as well, because I hate him as well.
Yeah. I like the thought you could tell whether he was purposely being a dick.
Yeah.
Or he was just trying to wind up Caleb to,
It's kind of like you feel like you're on Caleb's side. We know who he is because we've met him one scene before he gets there, but you never know what anybody else is up to, and different scenes present them in different lights. They say sometimes he's really pally, sometimes he's really distant, sometimes he's quite scary, sometimes you could be, and then you get the same with Ava. It's like, oh, she's really innocent, oh no, she's not, and then by the end you feel like she isn't, and then Kyoko's kind of the same. And I feel like Oscar Isaac plays it really well. And as you will maybe have noticed, I did mention his name once during all the nominations there. Donald Gleason got 1, Alicia Vikander's everywhere, but I feel like Oscar Isaac was maybe a bit overlooked in this because he's in this film as much as the other two are.
Yeah.
And I think he's as good as
straight away. I was like, I trust him. When I watched this film with Bly, I was like, he's telling the truth. The other guy's a bell end.
Given
there is that kind of turn. You start to hate Caleb more than you hate Nathan.
Yeah, given there's one point, I think it might be the first time that he's speaking to Ava. It is, because the first time he speaks to her, that's when she's like, don't trust him. Yeah. And I'm sorry, I am a human being. I'm more likely to trust the only other human being here because I'm suspicious about her over there. So I'm going to trust him rather than some robot that's behind a cage. Like, I am being protected from you, and you're telling me not to trust the other one. So yeah, I immediately I'm like, no, I'm with this guy. He might drink a lot. He might be a bit crazy, but he also seems like he's also the smartest man in history. Yeah,
true.
I think that leads on to my next high point is when Nathan's had like a particularly heavy session and he's passed out and like Caleb starts fiddling hacking and stuff. Yeah. And then you see the videos of all the older models and you finally see why that glass is broken. And I like the music as well. It kind of added drama. You're just like, oh, Nathan's going to catch him.
There's 2 or 3 times with the music, especially at the very end when Ava's escaping.
Oh, that loud music.
The music is really, really, really loud. So I've only got 1 high point left, so I don't know if anyone else has got a few more.
No, I'm out.
It's not really a high point, but I like the fact that there's the morning after that, and Caleb's trying to get his master plan and acting, and he's like, oh, have a drink. I don't know, it must have been like 9 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. And he's like, no, I'm alright. I've been doing it quite heavy. I'll just lay off it. And he's like, oh, he's fuck his plans here. What's he going to do?
Yeah.
And then you get the revelation that he's already done it.
You get first the revelation of he's onto him. That's why he doesn't want to drink. And then the double revelation of I'm actually the smartest man who's ever been in cinema, and I've done my plan before revealing it. So it's which I know. Talking of which, I saw a tiny bit of Ender's Game the other day, which is another one where the plan goes ahead. The plan happens before they talk about it in a certain way. Where, I like films that happen. So my final high point is I do like that she is evil in the end, and she was working everybody the entire time, and she got her way, and she outsmarted all the humans and left. I thought that. I kind of feel like, no offense meant by this at all, Andy. I kind of feel like they were kind of like Andy's quizzes here, where they came up with a name for the film, came up for this would be a good ending for a film, and then made the film backwards. I said, no, we'll get up to that point where the robot kills everybody and leaves. And it's nice.
We come back quiz later on.
But yeah, I did enjoy the ending, and yes, that's something I could say. I enjoyed that she was in fact an evil robot the entire time, or I'm assuming smarter than she needed to be robot the entire time. Any final ones for you, Chris? Then?
No, I think I've covered all my high points.
Better get on to low points then. I'll start off with my first one, which is the first thing I saw in one of the scenes, which I felt I had to write it down. That's too many post-its on the wall. It has to be counterproductive. There's no way that he was able to use any of the information he had on the wall. Like a post-it reminds you of something important that you need to do or say. To have 1,000 of them there, it was so far away you couldn't read them either. It was like that. There's no way that's working. So that was a low point for me. Too many post-its.
Your low point that you were going to mention later, like Kyoto, straight away I was like, robot.
And again, I can't remember because I've seen this a year and a half ago. It's like, do I remember she's a robot when I first saw her, or am I like, or is she just so obviously a robot that?
Just obviously a robot.
There's a point where I thought she was the mastermind because she kept appearing in places and doing things. And I was like, she was sitting at the computer at one point. I went, oh, it wasn't Caleb at all. It was her. She's been fiddling about. She's been the silent assassin. But then
you weren't immediately. She's a robot then. No.
Oh, I knew quite well. Like as soon as she walked in, you could tell she's a robot. But I just thought maybe she was like the mastermind robot.
I can just imagine Chris in a hotel and somebody walks in and it's like, robot. Straight away.
I've got another early one that's not what is it early? I don't know. Either way, I've got another low point. Ava tells Caleb, close your eyes. And then pisses off for 20 minutes to get dressed incredibly slowly. Was she expecting him just to be sitting there while she's all like putting her sleeves on like that and picking which wig while he's just sitting, eyes shut? It's like, all right, what's happening? I'm in a box here.
I would have came back to me just lying in the cheeks going, just completely ruined the whole moment.
I think she's definitely watched, Natalie Portman one too many times in Leon. Because that's pretty much what she reminded me of, an old version of Natalie Portman.
Yeah, it's not a tale. She even could have had a similar outfit as well. Now I forgot
about that film.
Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, I was like, it seemed like unless she was expecting him to like peer through the glass watching her, and then for her to come back and he's sitting with his eyes shut again. It's like, who's
I don't know.
Fooling who here?
Like to get all dressed all sensual like that when you've already walked in with a camel toe on show, it's just like you kind of showed everything, aren't you?
Right, I'll go on to another low point. Andy said our low point. It's an AI classic. Every movie has AI in it. Yeah. Is our main character a robot? I think it's never been done worse than in this film. Like
he can look like a robot.
Yeah, you first see him with his back out, and you're like, oh, he's got slices in his back. Is he actually a robot under there? Then he explains why he's got them. You're like, all right then. And then not for the rest of the film at any point do I ever think he might be a robot. I don't feel like he thinks he's a robot. And then randomly in one scene he's going to the toilet and slices his arm open.
That was gross. He starts fiddling a bit in his arm.
I'm also not sure how he didn't die.
I know, that was some cut.
He did it like full way as well.
But yeah, I think I don't know. I don't know what made him think he was a robot. It really seemed like a massive just jump out of nowhere. Maybe I'm an android or whatever it was. But yeah, I didn't enjoy that aspect, which is normally like a solid when you have someone an android or a robot or whatever.
He was kind of like not a big low point, but a lot of his stuff, like it took him 2 sessions before he fell in love with Ava.
Yep.
And wanted to betray like his boss and people.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Like I said, when he found out about the vagina being active, he was all in.
It was 6. The 6th session was when he was like, "Let's do the plan." So on the 5th session, he'd already done the plan. If that makes he'd already decided he was going to do it. And how long do we think a session was? Like, are they doing like 7-hour, 8-hour days there, or is it a couple hours at a time? Like, how long can you sit just talking to a robot? It's like that's a very short period of time that he fell in love with someone who isn't a human being.
It'd be like 20 minutes for me. I'd be like, right, I've done all the talking points. Right, I'll see them on.
So also, there was no cable plugged into her, so that's some good batteries there as well.
Speaking of which, so this is the big tech problem I had with it was she could just make lockdown happen in this building.
Yep.
Did Nathan know that it was her?
Must have.
Probably not.
Because he seemed to be quite genuinely being like, "Oh, I can't get it to work. I can't work it out. I'm not getting people out. It's too much information." And then one scene, she's just flat on, just touches the wall, and it happens. And I'm like, surely he could at least in his video see her go like this towards the button or whatever. And it's like, so I still don't know whether it was a triple bluff or whatever. That
unless he did, because he made sure lockdowns didn't open any doors.
Yeah, I think maybe one of these previous robots has been trying to fuck him over as well, so he knows. Maybe he's just trying. Maybe that's why he got him in, just to see if all robots just fuck him over or if it fuck somebody else over as well.
Yeah, okay. Just because I'm the creator, yeah.
Yeah, she needed him to reset the thingy so she can get out. That's why he was so gullible.
Any other low points from anybody?
It was way too much female full frontal nudity. Unnecessary.
I had no idea. I was not expecting any of that, to be honest.
Yeah, I couldn't remember it, to be honest. But yeah, there's a period of 10 minutes where there's always a naked person on screen. That takes me on to, it's not exactly her fault, but Alicia Vikander looks like she's about 15 years old when she's standing there with no clothes on. And it's very unsettling. It's like, I do not want to be looking at this. This makes me uncomfortable here. Hurry up and put some clothes on. But also, it doesn't make any sense because she was taking body parts off of other people. Yep. And it's like, no one was that shape and size. How have you managed?
There was definitely an Asian person there. There was a black person there, and there was a couple of white people there. And she turned out all white.
Yeah, and the two white people
definitely took the stomach part off the Asian.
The white people were both about a foot taller than her as well, so it's like none of this would fit you properly. But no,
why was she the only one who was still robotic and not made to look like a person like everybody else was?
Exactly.
Like that would have made the whole thing a lot more difficult. That
they were not have funny hands, or was it just because they smashed her off the wall?
They smashed it
off the wall. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good point. Again, that might be more of the mind games. I don't know.
I don't know. I've got one final low point, and that's the very, very end. Like the helicopter guy.
Yep.
How stupid is he? He's walking about, I'm sure I brought a guy before. Come on, then let's go.
A week ago. Like it wasn't like it was months. Yeah. It was 7 days ago, and he's come back to pick him up. Oh no, he's not coming. He's staying. Well, where the hell have you come from then? The only way to get here is via helicopter, and I've never brought you via my helicopter.
So yeah, that was a bit of a low point. Didn't make any sense.
I reckon she definitely did favours around the back of the helicopter to get out.
I wanted to have a quick look. I had a double checked as well to see if she was flying the helicopter.
Yeah.
She just eliminate him, but no, it was the pilot flying the helicopter away. I've got a few that we've missed out then. One is, did the film spoil its own ending about the halfway point? Because Caleb tells a story about Mary, and we see visions of Ava walking around outside on her own. And I'm like, this is one of those situations where the film is showing you what happens at the end, but not how it happens at the end. It's immediately I was like, oh yeah, that's what happens in this film. She gets away on her own, and everyone else is dead, left behind. And I feel like it kind of ruined it, because for someone who watched it the first time, maybe I don't know if it happened for you, Chris. It might have told them this is what's going to happen at the end, but for me, it unlocked. Oh yeah, that's the end of the film. She leaves on her own.
I just had that she was. Well, he was dreaming that he was out with her.
Yeah, but there was a lot of he was distant and she was going to honour him, which again, I'm sure the director did it on purpose. I'm positive, but it kind of annoyed me. Another low point: the twist. It seemed to be presented as a twist that there had been other robots there, and it seemed like this massive "oh my god" moment. Caleb's like, "Oh, there was like 5 other versions." Like, well, obviously there was. And I don't know why it took him. Why that was the turning point. Oh, I need to now kill him for this. It seemed like.
Well, obviously, Ava, I assumed he'd had other versions. And Kyoko.
Exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely her. And I felt like he was a bit slow in the uptake there as well, old Caleb. But yeah, that was bad. That was. I think that was my last low point. But yeah, another film that trying to present something that was as shocking that wasn't particularly shocking. Any other low points from you, Andy, or are we going through them all?
Just don't keep your sex dolls in your bedroom closets.
Where would you suggest we keep them, Andy?
I don't know.
It sounds quite handy, to be honest. That's kind of where you would normally.
I don't know. It would freak me out just having like 5 wardrobes there going. Oh, I've got 5 sex dolls in there, because I'd be freaking out going. They might attack me in the middle of the night.
Anytime anything rustles or moves in the middle of the night.
Yeah, no, couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. It freaked the fuck out.
Is that us then?
Yeah.
Yep. On to point 4, our stats. There were 5 shits and 17 F-bombs. There was a hell of a swearing at one point, but it kind of tired. Once the shit hit the fan, they kind of stopped swearing, which is usually the other way around. 0 explosions, not one single explosion in the entire thing, and 1 death, which was Nathan. We could pretty much assume Caleb is going to die anyway, so it couldn't do.
I burn that one.
Yeah, I didn't count any robot deaths. Depends where he's locked. Like, I don't know if we'd have any food or wherever he's locked. But as far as deaths go, and then his 2 parents died in a car crash, which could count maybe if you wanted to really get into it. Our quotas: there was no dead animals, no cows, no goats. There was no peeing. Pedophiles. Ava was based on Caleb's pornographic profile, is what was quoted.
I never thought of that.
Just saying, literally a line in the film is her appearance based on my pornographic profile. Search
15-year-old girls,
thing. So
he's
maybe.
I'll accept that.
Also, I'm less sad for him getting locked and Ava getting away. The devil wasn't there, and there's no KKK either. Did you say you counted drinks as well, Chris?
Yeah. I was going to do it individually, but I went like he had 2 beers in the first session.
Okay.
And he was drinking 1 after the first lockdown, but there's 3 empties sitting. Mm-hmm. He had red wine at dinner. He had another beer after session 3. There was one more when he was dancing.
Yep.
And there was a lot of vodka when he passed out.
Definitely, there was nearly a whole bottle on his own, I think.
Yeah. But I never counted the empties in that one.
Right. So I counted also for Caleb had. Like, I didn't just do this. So I did it. Every alcoholic beverage, drunk, or I would assume to have been drunk or implied it. So I've gone 29 alcoholic drinks were drunk. So that is 1 every 3 minutes in a film, give or take. So not too bad. I also did Caleb enters the building after 4.5 minutes, and then Ava exits for the last 3 minutes of the film. So the entire rest of the film, which is an hour and a half to an hour and 40 minutes long, is entirely inside the building, and nobody is outside at any point. Well, they're in the garden having the booze, but they're still on the premises. But yeah, we only ever see, like, if you include the pilot, in and out, Ava out, and then Caleb and a couple people in his office beforehand. All the rest is inside. And did they say the thing? Did they say Ex Machina in the film?
No.
I don't think so. I don't remember them saying it. They could easily have snuck it in somewhere in one of the kind of monologues and arguments. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they didn't say it. Chris, any other stats from you?
No, it's not real staff. I should have asked this in low point. Like, how did he get all of his alcohol there? Because there's no deliveries at any point.
Amazon.
He rattles through a lot of alcohol.
Amazon sent it to your drone.
100% Amazon. Yeah. They can deliver anything next day, anywhere.
Yeah. There you go. Sponsor us, please. Andy, most pornographic scene?
Yes. Every one of his alcoholic benders.
Yeah, I thought so.
Because they're amazing.
Easy done. On to point 5 then, the 10-point podcast quiz. Andy's twice teased this, I think, so far. So Andy,
this is up here with a banger, right? It's called the Turing test.
Oh God, which one of us is a robot?
So basically, it's to check to see if you're a robot. So what I'm going to do is making sure you're not on the internet, you're not letting your phones out or nothing like that, because easily what we're going to do is you each take it in turns, and you've got to guess the top 3 Google searches or Blue Book searches if we're going with a film.
Okay, I will show you my hands.
Of a phrase. So I'll give you a phrase, and you got to try and guess one of the top 3. If you get into the top 3, you get the point. Okay.
Well, let me sugar my phone so it doesn't die me in the middle of this. Okay, go.
Right. So we'll start with Bruce, and then you get one guess. Chris gets a guess, and we're going to go back and forth until somebody gets something in the top 3.
I'll see if I follow. I'm not 100% sure what's happening, but I'll go first.
So these are top 3 Google searches of Oscar Isaac is.
And I have to fill in the blank.
You got to fill in the blank of Google's top 3.
Oscar Isaac is married. It's always up there.
Correct.
Hey.
Yeah, that was number 2. You could have had Oscar Isaac is short is the first one, or Oscar Isaac is in everything is the third one. So
I'm forgetting
right. So you need to get 1.
You just need to get 1 in the top 3, and if you don't get it, it gets passed on to the next person.
Show hands.
Right. Alicia however you say her last name.
Vikander, I think.
Vikander is Chris.
Married to Michael Fassbender.
No. Bruce.
Is she though, or is that just?
Yeah, she is. I googled it after.
Yeah, I'm only going for Google's top 3.
Right. Is American?
Nope. I'll give you a hint on this one.
Wait.
Yes, that's fair.
It doesn't matter now because I've already done it. But is
I put is, but it actually doesn't go is for the search.
Oh. Right. Okay.
So Chris, quick fire.
Alicia Vikander is Lara Croft. I don't know.
Nope. Chris.
Height.
One more each. Nope. Chris.
Age.
Nope. Bruce.
Single.
Nope. Your top one was baby? Question mark. Net worth? Question mark.
Net worth. Right.
Or her Instagram.
Instagram. Oh, I thought of that.
Right. So, Bruce, your next one. Starting with you. Ex Machina is.
Ex Machina is. I'm just going to go definition.
Nope. Bruce. Chris.
The game.
Nope. Bruce.
Latin.
Nope. Chris. One more round.
It's about robots.
Nope. Who did I start with? It was
I think. Oh, that's it. Yes.
That's it. So Ex Machina is Caleb a robot? Question mark.
Oh, right. Okay.
Is Ava evil? Question mark. Is Keiko a robot? Question mark.
Ah, okay.
Right. They start getting a bit easier now.
That was more about the film than I thought. I thought it was going to be like the saying.
Yeah.
Right. Chris, you start first. Dominic Gleeson is.
In Star Wars.
Movies. No. Chris.
In Harry Potter.
Correct. That was number 3. Your other one, number 1 was is married or is a twin.
Is a twin.
Right. Bruce, you to start this time. Artificial intelligence is
created.
No, Chris.
Is it real?
No, Bruce.
It's unnatural.
No, Chris.
Artificial intelligence. Haley Joel Osment.
No. Right, that's it.
I guess so,
got it. So is artificial intelligence is dangerous, is bad,
I was going to go next.
Or is issues.
Bad would be my next answer if I got
right.
it again.
These last ones are quite fun. Right, I can't remember the scores, but here we go. Right,
I'm winning 2-0. Well, I don't know who's
2-0, right. Chris, you need to get these next two. Right, Chris. Beer is
good.
Need a bit more.
Tastes good.
No, Bruce.
Good for you.
I'll give you it. Good for your health.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
The other top ones is made of and not the answer.
Not the answer.
Right, Bruce.
Uh-huh.
My penis is.
Small.
No, Bruce.
Crooked.
No, Bruce.
Growing.
No. Close, but no. Chris, it's a hint.
What? I wasn't listening there. Is large? I don't know.
No, Bruce.
It's shrinking.
No, Chris. Last one. You need this.
Fucking hell, I don't know. Is
It's just a shovel.
no.
No, right, okay. So my penis is sore. My penis is itchy. And my penis is swollen.
Oh, God, I'm so close to that.
You were so close, right? Who's it? Chris. Breasts are. Chris.
Awesome.
Nope. Bruce.
Too big.
No, close, but no.
Oh,
Chris.
Sore.
I'll give you it. Sensitive.
yeah, that's fair.
You had lumpy, sensitive, and getting bigger. What are the top three?
Oh,
Right. So, Bruce, you start. Chris, you need this one to stay in the game.
I think Bruce is annihilated.
I thought the game was over. I'm winning 3-1.
Yeah, so did I.
I'm winning 3-1. I thought we had 2 to go, right? 3-1 at the moment.
Right, okay, whatever. I'm going to finish last two because these are fun ones. Chris is a.
Is it me first or him first? I'm lost.
It's you first.
Right. Chris is a boy's name.
No, Chris.
Chris is a Hemsworth.
No, Bruce.
Girl's name.
Nope. Chris.
Is a religious name.
Nope. One more round, Bruce.
So it's Chris is a. So I'm going to say someone has mistyped it. And I'm going to go like Aguilera.
Nope. And Chris, last one.
Is a legend.
Nope. Your options were, number one was Chris is a fitness instructor.
Is it?
Chris is an insured bricklayer. And Chris is a playground bully is the top three.
I'm glad it was bully. I wonder where that was going.
And last one for just a pride for Chris here because he's definitely lost.
Yeah.
Bruce is a. Chris.
Oh, for me? Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
As a shark's name.
Ah.
Nope.
This is postman.
Nope.
All jobs
Chris.
for creative ones.
Bruce is an air pilot.
Nope. Bruce.
Bruce is a defense lawyer.
Nope. Your top one were Bruce is an experienced mechanic.
Ah.
Bruce is able to finish most crosswords.
That's
Bruce
true.
has participated in a research study. And the fifth one, I went to the fifth one because it's my personal favourite. Bruce is a gay name.
Apparently it is. I'm trying to change that. Yeah.
So Bruce absolutely dominated there. And the tiebreaker question was Andrew is a. Now, you've got to remember, there's a Prince Andrew out there at the moment, so he's kind of giving my name a bit of bad. So my top three was Andrew is a sweaty nonce. Andrew is guilty. And Andrew is gay. Is the top three there.
That first one's a belter.
Yeah.
So there you go. Turing test done. None of these are robots.
I think we've all passed. I think.
I'm
Nobody
definitely
will.
not a robot.
Right, that was good. Well done, Andy. Thank you. Point 6 on the podcast is movies within movies. The parodies are mainly references in this one that I got. It's a Wonderful Life. I can't remember why. Alice in Wonderland gets mentioned. Ghostbusters gets mentioned. Blade Runner, AI, Am I a Robot stuff. Ghost in the Shell. Apparently, there's a couple of the robots look like characters from Ghost in the Shell. But
Camel toe as well, and that.
there you go, a bit of that. Stepford Wives, robotic women wearing floral dresses. I'll leave that to the end. Star Trek is mentioned directly. Dark Knight, that's because the phone's hacking showing what everybody's up to was referenced, and it always makes you think of Morgan Freeman refusing to work in Dark Knight. But how about this? Jurassic Park links to this film because when we see Donald Gleeson having a shave, the shaving foam he is using is the shaving foam that has things in it from Jurassic Park.
And also, the music sounded like the Jurassic Park music as well. When he walks into his lobby.
So never not good. What was never not good? I was going to say, Am I a Robot? Because that's always good, but this film proved that is not never good. So Norwegian scenery is never not good. As we have seen on this podcast, anytime we have Norway, it always goes down well. Chris, movies are the movies.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, and for the first time in a long time, nobody has been in a previous pick.
Incorrect.
Incorrect.
Jay, who I think is the pilot, because the pilot didn't appear in the credits, but someone called Jay did. The guy's face looks like the pilot. So Corey Johnson, who played the pilot, he was in The Mummy as Mr. Daniels, one of the crew of American guys who show up looking for, I don't know, the treasure and all that. So yes, we actually.
You know what's happening is I forget what films we've done. I've probably rattled through them. The Mummy rings a bell.
But yeah,
I'm waiting for one of us to pick the same movie again for a podcast.
Yeah. Andy witnessed me finding that. I was very excited when I found it. This film with a cast of 7 people or something like that.
Yeah.
Has done
I've been on a limb.
how would you recast this?
100%. Andy is, without a doubt, going on this week alone is Nathan. Purely because he's been drinking.
I had a toothache.
I'm not joking. Every other message is Andy with a bottle of Prosecco in his mouth.
I had 5 bottles of Prosecco left in the house. I drank them all.
I think Bruce is Caleb, because I feel like you'd understand the technical stuff side better than I would. And so I'm not a woman. I put myself as the forgotten helicopter pilot. Just ferrying people across.
I think you look more like Caleb, though. That's the only thing, Chris. You have a bit of a resemblance. I went a different direction. I thought, well, what would I want to see from this film? So I'm thinking, I don't want to see. I would prefer this film if Ava was played by Andy. And I thought, it's only one direction to go from here then. So Chris has to be Kyoko, and I'll just be one of the other ones. I don't really mind. So I think instead of all these...
I'm trying to be the other one. I don't like dancing.
Instead of all the attractive women, I think 3 of us, we're all the android robot things.
I'd be out in there in seconds, though. Tell you that.
You'd be the one at the door, Billy. Right, Andy, movies and movies. What have you got?
Straight up, just switch Ava out and put Daisy Ridley in there, and then you've got a Star Wars threesome. Sorted.
Yeah, that's a good point. Aye. And she looks kind of similar in the face as well.
Yeah, I should have changed it for Darth Vader. Just open the door.
On to point 7, Chrissy's Would You Rather. There wasn't one in the film this week, I don't think. So, Chris.
No, I struggled quite big to this week, but what I put, like, I think this mentions like search history and stuff. So, would you rather have your entire internet browser history, or every like sleeping dream you've ever had exposed to the public?
Internet history, because pretty much it's just how to Google stuff.
Yeah, how to fix this.
Oh no, YouTube stuff. How to fix hole in driveway. Yeah. How to fix guttering is pretty much my search engine.
Mine is pretty much IMDb pages for the films we did in the podcast. However, I would opt for the dream because I'm horrendous at remembering my dreams. So therefore, I would then also see what happened in my dreams. Because I get like, I remember about 1 second of every second dream I have. I'm bad at remembering.
To be fair, I have fucked up my search engine recently with doing this quiz because I've got like penis, bums. Like I was trying to search funny things to come up in the top 3 searches.
And recent searches for Andy, my penis is sore and Andrew is a sweaty nonce.
I know. I'd rather go for the dreams because who's not had a weird dream? But like you, like Andy's just said, searching you on the internet. Why is my penis sore? Blah blah blah. And people will be like, so why is your penis sore?
It was for our quiz, okay?
Yeah, good one. Thank you, Chris. On to our nominations on point 8. I've got quite a chunk, so do you want me to go first or last? That's something.
Yeah, because I've got fuck all.
I've got a few, so if you go last, you can
pick
up the ones that I've not done.
On you go, Chris.
So I went for Best Actor, Alicia Vikander. I thought she was better than the other 2.
I've kind of dodged her because I'm not entirely sure she was good. So I went for Oscar Isaac, the underrated from this film. Oscar Isaac, I thought he was.
Well, I accept that as actor, and I'll put her as supporting.
Cool, let's go for that. But yeah, I'm still a bit iffy. I'm not sure. Is she playing a robot well, or is she still just actually a bit weird? I don't know.
I felt she was better than Gleason, though. He was a bit disappointing.
Yeah, okay. He's supposed to be the sympathetic one, and I felt very little sympathy for a weirdo who fell in love with a, I don't know, teenage girl robot within 7 hours. So yeah, sorry. Carry on, Chris.
I went for best twist as it ever was you manipulating Caleb to escape.
Yeah, I guess it has to be. Yeah.
I went for best song as Get Down Saturday Night.
You've got the title, so I agree, definitely.
I went for best effects for Ava, like her actual costume thing.
Yeah.
Best plan was Ava's escape plan because it worked.
It has to be. I think I had. Did I have something else with that? Although, I like Caleb doing his plan before explaining it to the villain, as it were. That gave the film an extra point from me. I think was him actually. Oh, I've already done it. Like that was good. But yeah, Ava having another level of a plan makes hers the best plan.
And this is a little bit of a twist here, but my Michael Pena award is the visual explanation when Caleb watches like the previous models, and we get a history of what actually happened to them. That's kind of explaining.
Right. Okay.
A little bit. I couldn't think of anything else.
I don't know if it'll make the cut for a nominee in the end, but you're on record.
Video Pena.
Yeah.
Video Pena. Are you wanting to go in now, Andy, or are you going to go very last?
I've still got fuck all, so carry on.
Carry on. Best death, Nathan. I very much now I think about it, should have been a high point. Just easing the knife into him, and then
I don't think a knife goes in that easy.
Easing the knife into him. But they're robots. You know,
it was like
our arm fell off like fucking paper. It's shite.
I mean, it's not strong. It's not like the joints might not be strong, but it can put a bunch of power, and also they can calculate how much pressure it would need and all that. I quite enjoyed it.
I did like him walking away though, going, "Fucking unbelievable."
Yeah, yeah, that gets an extra bit. So yeah, that's best death. Best fights. There wasn't very many, but I'll put Ava versus Nathan. It might not make the cut in the end, but yeah, there was a fight. Best set has to be the house research facility, whether it was the actual building itself or whatever they made on a filming lot somewhere.
For me, I think this one tops the one from Gone Girl.
Yeah, I'm probably the same. Yeah, I think so. We've gone for plan, gone for the twist. Worst father figure. Does Nathan count as a worst father figure? I'm assuming he is a father figure. That's why we call it that. It's not actual father.
Oh yeah, I mean, if my father figure tried to batter me with a weight thing, yeah.
I mean, it was self-defense. but yeah, he keeps them locked up and kills them, essentially. So I think it has to be a bad father figure. Worst twist for me is Kyoko being a robot, because I think it was presented as a twist. And best bell end has to be Nathan, because I think he's the villain in this film, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't think Ava is the best bell.
I reckon Ava is the best bell end.
Okay, fair enough.
Only if she decides to go on like a murderous rampage and kills everybody she can.
That's the thing. I would be intrigued to see a sequel to this, just to see if she just does like it eliminates half of, I don't know, America or wherever she's meant to be in the end. It would be quite strange. Any others, Andy? Then?
No, just best alcohol representation.
So last week it was Scotland representation. This week's alcohol.
Yeah. Maybe it's just best representation. Category.
I'm going to forget all these categories for the end of the season. On to point 9, the moral of the story. Andy, why don't you give us your moral of the story first then?
What was Nathan's last name again? It's
Bateman.
Bateman, I think.
Bateman.
Yeah.
Never trust a guy called Bateman.
Fair enough.
American Psycho guy called.
Yes, yes. I feel sorry for Jason Bateman.
Yeah.
He seems like quite a nice guy.
I don't trust him either.
My moral of the story is stop making computers that are smarter than us. That is definitely the moral of the story here. And Chris,
come on, Chris, you know you want to do it for the third week in a row.
Oh, I'm not doing bitches be crazy. Mine is don't create anything because it will escape and kill you.
Yes, it will be the death of us. On to the 10th point then, the 10-point rating, where we rate the movie out of 10. Chris, you picked it. You get to go first.
I'm going to give it a 6. Straight away. I thought the acting was mostly all good. Like I said, Gleason was the weaker of the three big hitters. I like that you could tell that whether Nathan was actually good or bad. He was just kind of played it in the middle. And the ending was a bit of an anticlimax, I thought, just her getting in the helicopter and flying away.
That was the very end, but I liked that she got away. Oh, you were actually doing that the entire time. Very good. I've got me as next, so I'll just carry on going. I've got 5, just below what Chris has got, because I think it's a missed opportunity more than it is good or bad. Like, I think this could have been better. than it actually was. I haven't written anything down, so I thought about this, but I forgot what my thought was. I was going to write at the end, but yeah, it's well enough made, Chris. Everyone's good in it. It's beautifully shot. There's some great shots. I feel like, I don't know, production design wise, it's very nice. But I feel like I could have done with more of them falling in love, which probably would have meant I enjoyed the film less, but it would have made more sense. It's a tough one. So
I would have liked to have seen her get out before she escaped to see how she interacted.
Maybe, yeah. But
or
yeah.
he get in before she
that would have been a terrible idea. But yeah, either way, it's a 5. It's bang average for me. Andy, how about you?
Based on everything you guys said, however, there's a lack of explosions, and robot vagina really took it down for me, so it gets a 3.
3. Shouldn't be too tough for me to work out the maths, although I'm already struggling. So it is officially a 5 out of 10 in the middle again. A 5 out of 10 for Chris's first viewing of the film. So that was Chris's first viewing. So before we get on to Chris's theme, or whatever you want to call it, does your theme, Chris, pertain to any of the other films you did not pick? So we've had Misery, Blues Brothers, and So I Married an Axe Murderer that aren't your picks. Does your theme?
Previous films from other seasons can get taken into it.
No, just this season.
Just this season, right? Fine. No, just my ones.
So this season we're trying to link, Andy, Total Recall and Ex Machina. Can you link
titties?
Not on purpose, but yeah.
Like literally, I was adamant. I was like, "This is the film with the titties," and then the titties started. I was like, "Yep, he's doing titties." But then I'm thinking robots.
No,
I'm thinking artificial intelligence is what I'm thinking. Or
no.
Is it Black? Are you like Black Mirror? Is it like dangerous technologies that'll be the death of us all, or something like that?
Dystopian future.
I'll allow it. My movies are things that movies have predicted that are like coming true now.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
So in there's a list in Total Recall. I won't tell you what other films are going to do, but in Total Recall, there's what is it?
FaceTime.
It's like automated cars. Yeah, full body scanners, video phones, and in this one it's like artificial intelligence. And robots are getting more and more
advanced.
advanced.
Film pick is not getting narrowed down at all.
I mean, like to say this film predicted artificial intelligence is, I don't know.
No, not predicted. This is probably one of the better ones. I don't want to go all the way back to like.
Yeah.
I'm going to say for the third and last time, robotic vaginas that could be feature soon.
Well, I technically sex robots because.
Yeah, so there you go.
Kyoko, so
I'll give you that.
There you go.
Sex robots.
Everybody's going to have one in their cupboard soon enough.
Except Andy, it will be in his garage.
Andy's going to have 5.
So there we go. So Chris has got his. Have you got a catchy way of saying it?
Not real catchy. It's just things in movies that are now possible.
Things in movies that are now possible. That's a sensational theme. I like it.
So it's just my theme that nobody's got yet.
Yeah, we're just waiting on Andy, and the random wheel of randomness, which is what this pick is. So
Fired up.
While Andy fires up the wheel, there's been a bit of off podcast tech work on the wheel, Chris. So the films we've done before off the wheel, we believe we have removed. One may have snuck through, but Andy found all the ones that he could that were done before. They've been replaced with essentially wild card squares that are we get to pick again if we want to, as in Chris can select another film, or Andy can select another film, or I can if it lands on one of those spots. So there are still as many segments, but there are fewer films on it.
Okay. Right, Andy, you all see the wheel.
We all can see the wheel, and we're ready to spin it when you are.
Right, fire up the wheel.
So still, it must be about 100 slow. At least 50.
Slow in.
Oh! Is it stopped?
I don't even know what that says.
Falling down. That's Michael. What do you call him? I've forgotten his surname. Famous actor, married to Catherine. He's in Ant-Man. What's his name? Michael Douglas. That's who it is.
All right.
Falling down. This was
I know that one. That's on my list.
This is on my list as well because I was going to do it for a theme that I may now have cancelled because that's another film to come off of it, I think. So Falling Down.
This season, obviously, but it's on my list.
It's an action crime drama thriller from 1993, so it's right up our
old school again.
Yeah, so I don't know how to put that on the wheel. I don't know.
I don't know. It's not me. I've not even seen this film.
Yeah, so as we go, Andy's not seen it, and it came out after Die Hard. So there we go. Falling Down, Michael Douglas and others. I'm not sure. I think it's on I've seen it on Netflix at a reasonable recent day or week, so it might be available on Netflix. So everybody now has 7 days. Go find yourself falling down, and we'll see you next time on the 10 Point Podcast.